My name is David. I'm 55 years old, but when I look in the mirror, I see someone who's 80. I have no teeth, my hair is gone, my skin is yellow, I've lost 30 kilos. You're sitting there watching this right now, and I already know what you're thinking. You're thinking this guy was always messed up. This guy was never like me. This could never happen to me. I hear you. I used to say the same thing, and that right there, that exact thought, is the reason I'm sitting here on this bench, talking to a camera, instead of teaching algebra to a room full of teenagers. Because I was you. I was exactly you. Let me take you back. 2003. I'm standing in front of a blackboard in a high school in Ohio. I got a good job, decent pay, summers off. I got a house with a little yard out back where Sarah used to run around on Saturday mornings, this little curly-haired 8-year-old who thought her dad hung the moon. My wife Rachel worked the night shift at the hospital, came home tired but always found a way to squeeze my hand before she fell asleep. We weren't rich people, but man, we were solid, we were real. And I remember standing in that kitchen one morning with my coffee thinking, yeah, this is it. This is exactly what life is supposed to feel like. That was the last morning I remember feeling like that. November 2003, a truck rear-ended me on the highway. Neck, back, left shoulder. Nothing broken but everything wrong. They sent me home with a prescription. OxyContin. Back then you just took what they gave you. You didn't ask questions. You trusted the white coat. Couple weeks later the bottle was empty, and I went back, and the doctor said no more. Dependency risk, he said. And I walked out of that office with my hands shaking, and this crawling feeling under my skin, like something was eating me from the inside out. And I didn't understand what that was yet. I didn't have a name for it yet. A few days later, a guy I knew, we weren't even close, just somebody from around the neighborhood, he saw me and he could tell something was off. And he said, hey man, I got something that'll help. And I said, just this once, just to get through the week. Right there, that sentence, just this once, that's where I left myself behind. First few months, nothing looked different from the outside. I was still teaching, still showing up, still making Sarah's lunch in the morning, still doing the whole thing. But something had flipped in my head. Every single morning I woke up, and before I even opened my eyes, the first thought wasn't my kid. It wasn't Rachel. It was, where's the stuff? Where is it? Everything else in my life became background noise. Like the volume on everything I loved just got turned all the way down, and the only thing I could hear clearly anymore was that one thing. End of year 2, Oxy got expensive and hard to find. Somebody showed me said same effect 10 times cheaper. I sat in my car that night for maybe an hour. I cried. I actually cried. And then I did it anyway. Because by that point I wasn't making decisions anymore. I was just following the hunger. Year 3, Rachel packed a bag. I remember she was crying and talking, and I was just standing there watching her like she was on TV, like it wasn't real, like it was happening to somebody else. And then Sarah came running in from her room, holding her little stuffed rabbit, and she looked at me and she said, Daddy, is Mommy leaving? And I couldn't answer her. I just stood there. The door closed. I heard Sarah crying in the hallway, and I went and found what I had left in the drawer. If you've watched this far and felt something, you're not alone. Maybe you're going through this yourself. Maybe someone you love is. Either way, you being here means something to me. Can you leave a comment and tell me what's on your mind? And if this story touched you in any way, please like and subscribe to the channel. It truly keeps me going. Thank you in advance. Let me continue my story. Year 4, I got fired. They were patient with me longer than they should have been. I knew it was coming. I didn't fight it. Year 5, the bank took the house. Year 6, I woke up under a bridge by the river on a Tuesday morning in February, with ice on the ground and somebody's cardboard box under me, and my hands so cold I couldn't feel them. And I lay there looking up at the bottom of that bridge, and I thought about how that same morning, somewhere in this city, Sarah was getting ready for school. 14 years old now, and she didn't know where her father was sleeping. And I thought, she's better off not knowing. And that thought right there, that was the lowest I ever got. That was the bottom. Because any man who starts believing his own child is better off without him has lost something a lot more important than his house. I want to talk to you now about what nobody tells you about addiction. And I mean nobody. Not the commercials, not the school programs, not the after-school specials. The real stuff. The first thing is this: addiction does not look like what you think it looks like. I was a man in khakis with a grade book and a mortgage. I coached Little League one summer. I made a good pot of chili. When people look at me now, sitting here on this bench, looking like I'm 80 years old at 55, they think they would have seen it coming from a mile away. They would not have, nobody did, because addiction wears your face, it wears your clothes, it goes to your job and tucks your kid in at night, and it is so good at pretending to be you that even you don't notice the switch at first. By the time you notice, it's already been driving for a while. The second thing, that voice that says I can stop whenever I want to, is not your voice. I know it sounds like your voice. It uses your words. But that is not you talking. That is the addiction managing you, keeping you calm, keeping you right where it needs you. Every single person I have ever met who was where I was had that voice, and every single one of them said the same thing. I can handle it. I got this. I'm different. You are not different. And the moment you start believing you're different is the moment you stop looking for the exit. The third thing, the people who love you will leave before you're ready for them to leave. Not because they stopped loving you, because they had to save themselves. Rachel leaving wasn't her giving up on me. Rachel leaving was Rachel choosing to survive. I didn't understand that for years. I was angry at her for years. And that anger, I need you to hear this, that anger was just the addiction, giving me something to blame that wasn't itself. Don't fall for it. The people walking out the door are not your enemy. The thing keeping you from walking out with them is. The fourth thing, asking for help is not weakness. I know every man watching this just tensed up a little. I know. I was the same way. I grew up being told that a man handles his own problems. A man doesn't cry. A man doesn't ask. And I carried that all the way down to a frozen riverbank. My pride, my silence, my I got this, that cost me my teeth. It cost me my hair. It cost me 6 years of my daughter's life that I will never, not ever get back. No amount of pride is worth that. Not 1 second of it. The fifth thing, rock bottom is not the end. I know it feels like it. I know when you are sleeping on cardboard in February, you cannot imagine anything good ever existing again. But rock bottom is just the place where you finally stop digging. That's all it is, the floor. And once you're on the floor, you can only go one direction. The sixth thing is the hardest one. You may not get your family back. I need you to sit with that. I need you to really hear it. Because a lot of people stay in the mess waiting to get clean until they get their family back. And the truth is, sometimes that's just not how it goes. Rachel and I never got back together. That door closed for good. And I had to grieve that. Real grief. Like a death. Before I could move forward. But here is what I will tell you. 3 years ago, Sarah called me. She was 20 years old. She'd tracked me down through a shelter I'd stayed at. She just said, "Dad, I want to know if you're okay." That's all. And we talked for 2 hours. We've talked every week since. I'm not her father the way I should have been, but I'm her father. And that is everything. That is every single thing. Now I'm looking at you through this camera, and I don't know who you are. Maybe you're watching this because you're already in it, and you know it. Maybe you're watching because you're worried about somebody you love. Maybe you're watching because something I said already made your stomach drop a little. All I'm asking is this, one thing. After you close this video, send one message to one person. Doesn't have to be a long message. Doesn't have to explain everything. Just say, "Hey, I think I need some help." That's it. 3 words. That is the smallest possible step toward a different life, and it is the most important step you will ever take. I got up off that riverbank 10 years ago now. I still don't have teeth. My skin is still yellow. I'm still putting things back together, one slow piece at a time. But every Tuesday night I call Sarah, and she picks up. Every single time she picks up. You can get up too, but you gotta do it now. Not next week, not when things get a little worse. Now, because every single day you wait, something leaves that's harder to get back. Get up.